The battle over who selects the next Supreme Court justice is now crossing the color lines. Fascinating report this morning in the New York Times titled "The Blacks See Bias in Delay on a Scalia Successor." Well, it notes that some of the African Americans, especially in South Carolina, that the writer spoke with, say that they believe that these attacks are directly against President Obama and are racially motivated. This after Republican leaders in Congress vowed not to even consider the president's nominee, whomever it is, to fill Scalia's seat. I want to talk about this, delve into it with political strategist, former executive director of the Congressional Black Caucus, Angela Rye. Also with me, CNN conservative political commentator, host of the Ben Ferguson Show, Ben Ferguson. Thank you both for being here. Angela, let me begin with you. I just want to read you some of the quotes that stood out to me from this article. Okay, one resident in South Carolina, African American, told the Times they've been fighting that man since he's been there. Another said that President Obama, quote, has been disrespected from day one. It's because of his skin color. So that's one argument. The other side of the argument, Angela, is this has happened to presidents forever, regardless of their skin color. This is politics, not race. What do you say?
Well, this is what I would say to you. I would use some of the language that was used when the president ran in 2008. The language that was used is that he was a Kenyan, he was a Muslim, he was a socialist. All of these things about who he is and what he represents, none of them being true. Of course, he's half Kenyan, but he's an American citizen. He had to prove through birther efforts led by, of course, now presidential candidate Donald Trump. He was told, you lie, by a United States House of Representative member, Joe Wilson. He has been repeatedly disrespected, and it's hard not to call this a racially motivated, or these attacks racially motivated, these challenges racially motivated, when we even have something like the rise of the Tea Party in 2010, when folks got frustrated and tired of President Obama trying to move an agenda that was not popular to them. It's hard not to see the racism in this.
Let's talk specifically. I hear you. I want to talk specifically about this, whomever this nominee is, because if you'll remember, look, yes, you have Republican leadership saying we're not even going to hear it. We don't even think he should nominate someone. But back in 2006, it was then Senator Obama who supported the filibuster of a Supreme Court justice nominee, Samuel Alito, Angela. So just your take on that. Was he doing the same thing?
No, I don't think it was the same thing, and I think that you cannot isolate this one incident and say that this one time it's not racially motivated when there's been racial tinges throughout his presidency. I think that is what these folks that were, I'm just finishing my sentence, Ben, that's what these folks in South Carolina are saying in this piece. You cannot isolate this one incident.
Okay, Ben.
Well, here's what I would say. Welcome, first of all, to politics. I mean, to act as if this is somehow just racially motivated.
I'm not new to politics.
Chuck Schumer
I have
wanted to,
a decade of experience in politics.
Let me finish.
Well, then don't say that to me.
Let me finish. What I'm saying is, welcome. I can say welcome to politics. I just said it.
You're not saying it to me.
My point is this: when Chuck Schumer came out and wanted to filibuster, you weren't screaming racism because it was your side that was saying it. You also have Ted Cruz.
You don't know what I said, Ben. You don't know me clearly because you think I'm new to politics.
Okay, let me finish what I was going to say. When you had people that talked about birther with Ted Cruz, no one played the race card, right? No one said, oh, that's a race card. Of course not. This is what happens in politics. When people get their feelings hurt, they try to claim things. And what this basically boils down to now is you have people that are trying to excite and use this as a hot button issue to inspire African American voters to come out and vote because Barack Obama is not on the ticket. It is the easiest card to play in politics. Throw up the race card, everyone gets fired up about it, and then they go to the polls.
Let me jump in there. Don't we want everyone to vote? Isn't that what is at the foundation of our country?
But not on
not
race.
If you're on the Republican side of the aisle, they're the folks that are behind voter suppression measures.
If you're trying
they don't want certain
it's not suppression. First of all, it's not suppression for someone to show their ID when voting, and that's what you're referring to. But this is, again, playing the race card.
It's suppression when you cut down early voting days and when you cut out absentee ballot. Yes, it is.
Are you saying that Republicans have an advantage to go vote in early voting that Democrats wouldn't have? That's absurd. Are you saying white people have the advantage to go vote in early voting in the same periods of time?
Who votes in early voting days, Ben?
All right, guys,
come on. Look at the
Are you saying?
All right, we're going to move on. I need one voice at a time because you both have important points, but no one can hear them when you're talking over each other. Ben, to you, here's one point that's made, right? And it's the bigger picture. Phrases like it's time to take our country back or the silent majority. Some will point to those, Ben, and say that is part of the bigger issue here. Do you see merit in that?
Yeah. No, I don't. I think it's choosing issues to then try to turn into a racial issue. I have seen Republicans run against other Republicans saying when the Tea Party candidates were running against the establishment, it's time to take our country back. It was a conservative against a conservative, a Hispanic against a Hispanic, a white against a white. This is cherry picking on purpose, trying to ignite a race war in this campaign to inspire minority voters. I think it's the cheapest form of politics out there, and I think that all of these things that have been said in other contexts, and no one claimed the race card. When Democrats were trying to stop Alito, when Schumer was saying we're going to filibuster, no one claimed it was race because they knew it wasn't race. But now it's convenient to then say, let's call the race card. It gets everybody excited. The Jessies and the Al Sharptons come out, start screaming racism, and then they think that that's going to get voters out there.
Ben, let me point out one thing, Ben. A lot of the quotes in this Times article are from average folk in South Carolina. They're not from political pundits. So your point, I hear, saying this is all political. These are how these people feel.
Right, and people, look, they knew there was going to be a reaction with this. The same way that Hillary Clinton is throwing down this new card that she did. It's the same exact play, saying, well, women, you must support women, and women need to come out and not be afraid to back another woman. And remember what they said, what was it, a week and a half ago? If women doesn't support a woman, there's a special place in hell for you. That is the same card, just with a different context. One is the sex card, now it's the race card. It's a way to motivate voters, and it does work with some.
Angela, I want your take on this. Every president gets a lot of heat. George W. Bush was grilled. President Bill Clinton, a white Southerner, was impeached. Why is it race this time?
For all of the reasons that I said at the beginning of this segment, Poppy, for all of the reasons that Ben said we're not racial because the Tea Party was talking from a new conservative wing of the party, ultra-conservative wing of the party to the establishment. I don't agree with any of that. These are it's dog whistle politics. These are terms that are very familiar to many of us and mean something very different. I've not heard this well refuted. There's racism all in and through the GOP side of this race. We are seeing race used as I'm not finished. We're seeing race used as bait on the Democratic side of this. This is a bipartisan challenge and problem. Both parties have to deal with this. They need to deal with it in an acceptable way. While I'm so glad that Marco Rubio acknowledged that racism exists, the fact that he's willing to say that there's no political solution to it last night during your town hall is a problem. I hope that he at least understands that there are policy solutions that need to be put in place to deal with race. But we have race issues in this country. If we didn't, there wouldn't be white folks who are polled saying that they wish things could go back to, I'm not finished, wish they could go back to 1950s when things were better. That was before desegregation. If racism wasn't an issue in this country, we wouldn't hear people saying things like race relations have worsened under Barack Obama and it's his fault.
I gotta leave it there.
He's not a race baiter. That's not him. That's racism in this country.
Angela, thank you. Ben, I have to leave it there. Ben, I have to leave it there. You will both be back. I promise. Thank you very much.